So my name is Marc Armstrong. I'm out of San Francisco. I'm with the Public Banking Institute, and I'm out here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for the Occupy Philly protest.
So what's your message here? What are you here to do?
What I'm here to do is make the connection between basically the credit crisis that America has been going through the last 3 years and the real pain on the ground that we're all feeling. You know, and it's expressed recently with the occupations that are going on. The Occupy Wall Street movement, to me, means they're basically turning the light on at the scene of the scene of the crime being Wall Street. And now it's up to us to really identify what those crimes are and to connect the dots and have discussions about it. So that's why I'm here.
Can you tell me a little bit about the student debt forgiveness you were talking about?
Sure. So right now there's nearly $1 trillion of student debt that students have on their backs. Basically, their futures have been mortgaged. What happened was, in terms of the sequence of events, about 30 years ago, the deal was made between the state governments and the national government. Basically, hey, state governments, you guys aren't going to be paying for education anymore. People in my generation and older received the benefit of free education for decades, and so that was terminated. And then the question was, well, who's going to pay for it? Well, the students were volunteered for that, and then the question was, where are they going to get the money? And the New York bank stepped forward and said, we'll provide the money at 6, 7, 8% interest rate, and that was the deal that was done. Worked out fine when students had jobs when they came out of being educated, but now they don't have jobs. There are 20+ million people who are either unemployed or underemployed, and many of those are students between the age of 25 or so and 30. So here's the problem: is that they've got this huge debt on their backs. Their futures have been mortgaged, and that's one of the real crimes here. Basically, their futures have been stolen from them. The debt cannot be excused with any sort of bankruptcy filing. And so this is a very horrible situation for many people, and so what we believe is that the debt should be forgiven. The Federal Reserve 2 years ago pursued a program called Quantitative Easing 1, and they bought $1.3 trillion of mortgage-backed securities from the banks. They realized that was toxic debt. That debt needed to be off those balance sheets, and so they bought it and then basically ripped up the paper. We think they can do the same thing, buy the student debt, which is about $900+ billion, buy the student debt and then rip it up. It's not going to cost anybody anything. It's not inflationary because we're about $3 trillion short in our money supply. This is a $1 trillion program, and we think that if the Fed were to take this approach, it would free up demand, increase demand in our society, because the student debt would not be as on the backs of students anymore.
So they've just reached 300 tents out here apparently. What do you think of the Philadelphia movement?
Oh, I think it's great. I think they're very well organized. I think they've got a nice little vibe, local vibe going on here. They've got a good relationship with the police as well as the city so far. We've got a challenge with the permit, but I think people will see reason on that and let them stay. And they're standing up for what's right, and they're standing up for turning on the lights and on the scene of the crime, which is Wall Street. So I think they're doing a great job.